Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Well, I know it's been some time since I did my last video. As you saw in the previous clip, we experienced so much rain in May and June, and July we've had a little bit more rain as well than normally, but it was extremely hot. So if it wasn't raining, then it was too hot to actually garden outdoors. So my summer garden was like just okay, but my flowers really flourished with all the rain. There has been so much going on here at the homestead. We've been working on a ton of projects. Right now, there's like 1,600 pavers in my driveway. So we have projects after projects that we're working on. And then we've been doing a little traveling, and we've been working on projects away from the home as well. So now with fall almost here, this is my most favorite time to garden. I love all the winter leafy green. I'm planting a ton of those. So I'm really excited. I'm also planting, we have a watermelon patch that I probably won't show you in this video, but I'll show you in my next video. It is growing so well. I'm so happy. We have watermelon, and then I got cantaloupe and maybe some honeydew melon as well. So I can't wait to harvest some of those. We planted them late, like towards July, in the middle of July. So hopefully we'll be able to get some harvest really soon. Anyways, I'm not gonna take too much of your time, but I just wanted to pop on here and say hello to everyone. And I hope you enjoy the video. It is a little long, so grab a cup of tea or some coffee, and I'll see you soon. Okay, so today I'm going to be planting strawberries in this, I think it's like 24 inches tall raised bed, and I've dug these strawberries up from over in our front cottage garden. They were growing around my roses, so I had to get those up because, you know, they were taking nutrition away from my rose bush. It was like not a bush, it was actually a climbing rose. And look at all my dahlias that are coming up. I'm gonna have to get these staked. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and plant these strawberries. And what I'm doing actually is I'm planting them around the edges, as you can see here, because I want the strawberries to actually grow on the outside of the bed. Some odd reason, when they're in the soil, it tends to, the bugs tend to come up and eat my strawberries, and I don't want that. So, and in the middle, I'm going to plant flowers, I think. And on the edges, like I said, I'm going to be planting all the strawberries all around these edges. Okay guys, I am strutting along. We're almost done here with the strawberries hanging over the edges. And then I'm going to shop my own garden here for zinnias that are growing in odd places, and I'm going to plant them right here in the middle of the bed, super deep, almost like you do tomatoes, because zinnias are forgiving in that way. You just have to make sure when you pull up your zinnias, like let me show you here. There's one growing there, 1, 2, 3 growing over here, and one growing over there, and several other places. I'm gonna put row cover down here so that they won't do that next year, because this is actually going to be an aisle, not planting anything in these little spaces right here, although I could. But the zinnias grew up so tall last year that I had some tomatoes in here that they didn't do very good because of the shade of the zinnias. And then I have all my dahlias planted right over here. Then I have some planted here in the back rows as well, which was not by design, but we'll see how that turns out. So today, guys, I'm gonna get this little sitting area cleaned up over here. Basically, that is a kiwi plant growing on the fence. And as you can see, it's growing a little bit out of control. So I need to trim it back a little bit. And I have some yarrow growing here. And also over here. And I'm gonna get the pump hooked back up. And I have some plants growing in here, or different flowers that is, and I'm gonna get those all watered. Oh wow, looks like we have some germination over here of some rocket larkspur. So let's get that watered as well. And this is plant right here is a pomegranate, and I'm gonna get that cut back just a little bit. So yeah, I got my work cut out for me today. That's not too bad because this is my second go around of this area, just trying to stay on top of things. I have a new rose plant planted there. And this is the David Austin, let's see, the Generous Gardener. Yeah, I think that's what that is. But anyways, I'm gonna get that sprayed because I see a little yellowing in there. Gonna feed it as well. Just a little bit though, maybe on the outskirts because I don't want to kill the roots. So yeah. It didn't take very long this summer for my cut flower garden to be full of beautiful blooms. So here in my front cottage garden, there is a large magnolia tree that kind of separates the left and right side of the garden. And you'll see in the front, I always reserve places for my annuals. And here you'll see sun patience. I love the pinks and the fuchsia pinks or hot pinks. And then I also have hydrangeas, several types of hydrangeas in this garden, and lots of perennials as well, mostly perennials that are in this garden. And then I have Graphina that acts like a perennial, basically because it reseeds itself, and it is so beautiful. And there is a walk path right here in the middle of the garden. So right behind the sun patience are my drift roses, and I absolutely love the drift roses. I have multiple varieties, and they will bloom right up until your first frost. So as long as you prune them just a little bit. So right now, I'm harvesting these seed pods that I collected this year in 2025, like at the beginning of spring, when all my cabbages started bolting and they went to seed. So I decided to just save the seeds. And so basically these are the seeds, and I'm going to use these in 2025 to plant more for the fall. So we love this Chinese early cabbage. It's really good. We harvest the leaves and we eat them in salads because they have a really mild taste. You can also cook them as well, but I like eating them raw. Basically, when you're, and most people do know this, but basically when your leafy greens go to seed, they will have yellow flowers, and the bees just love those flowers. And after the yellow flowers, on the yellow flowers, you'll see the green little pods like this. They'll turn green, and they'll be tiny. And then if you leave them and don't pull them out, you get frustrated and you want to pull them out. But if you want to go ahead and save your seeds, Then you wait for these to dry, and yeah, that's the ugly time of your garden when things don't look so pretty because, you know, these pods, they're not the most beautiful thing, but they are sustainable. So you just let them get a little brown, and then at that point I cut them off and bring them inside. And I usually let them dry out in my sunroom so they can get super dry. And then you just take them and you remove your seeds because the seeds come out super easy. And then I just discard the brown little seed pods. And this is the sustainable part, is that you end up with your own seeds that you get to plant out in the garden, and you didn't even have to spend any money. So I'm a little old-fashioned. So I start off by using my Ball Blue book for recipes, and it hasn't failed me yet. So I'm starting here by separating the grape skins from the pulp. According to the Ball Blue book, I am heating up the pulp just to make it easier so that I can remove the seeds. Okay, so now I see why a lot of recipes tell you to use seedless grapes, because this task is not that easy to remove the seeds. Nevertheless, I was able to get it done. After removing the seeds, I'm adding in the sugar. Now, I'm not adding as much sugar, but I am going to add back the grape skins and bring this to a boil according to the instructions. Now, I like to use shelf-stable lemon powder instead of lemon juice, and this just helps the jam to set more firmly in your canning process. Also, the lemon powder or juice will help activate the natural pectin that is inside your grapes. So it was a lot of work for 4 half-pint jars, and I also received this jar right here that wasn't full all the way, so we'll just store that one in the refrigerator, and we're going to go ahead and water bath these 4 remaining jars. A look at this beautiful Rose of Sharon tree. I have a pink one and also a purple one in the front cottage garden. They reseed themselves, or actually drop seedlings, and you can replant them. This one is actually white and it is so beautiful. So this is what I mean by sustainable. These are my leafy cabbage that are coming up, and these are my own seeds, and this is what they look like. These are some seeds I planted earlier just to see the germination, and they're looking really delicious. We absolutely love these cabbage leaves, and just pick these off and we eat these just like lettuce. Super delicious. All my winter vegetables are coming in very nicely. These are my leafy greens that I'll be thinning out. These are tatsoi and also beets. These are the golden beets. Here are the golden beets. Oh, you can't really see that. It's upside down. Let me see if I can show it to you. These are so delicious. The golden beets are growing in the back rows that you see here. And the tatsoi is growing in the front rows. And as they get a little bigger, we'll thin them out and eat them in salads. And then the rest of the winter, they'll just grow and we'll harvest them as they grow. And if we swing over here, here's another winter bed. These in the front row, well, they're strawberries on the edges, but after that, in the front rows, you see Chinese cabbage that I showed you earlier. And these are my own seeds that I harvested. So that is a really good feeling to know that I have my own seeds growing that I was able to harvest, and it's super sustainable. I didn't have to buy any more seeds. I kind of like to get down in between the rows and not put water directly on the plants. But sometimes I like to rinse them off, especially if I'm going to harvest, because right now I'm going to harvest some of these leaves right here for supper, the larger leaves. So I kind of rinse them when I'm going to harvest. This right here, I'm growing watermelon and also honeydew melon. I believe some cantaloupe over in this area. Well, thank you for stopping by my channel. And in my next video, I'm going to give you a tour of my new garden room and some of the other projects that we're working on here on our little mini farm. Happy gardening and God bless.